need to put you on the other side or whatever. I'm just saying that you are defending something, or you're defending maybe a Muslim movement, which I understand. I mean, like, we don't want to devilify the people that we like. But all I'm saying is that Islam is an ideology that is very incompatible with the values that we aspire to have in the West and what we represent. And yeah, they are incompatible. And the only reason why those Muslim friends were able to say that is because they probably are protected by the laws of the land where they are living. Because Sharia law would never defend any other opinion that is contrary to the Quran or to the Prophet. They are only able to be quote unquote moderate because they're living in a place that has them safe.
Okay, I just no thank you. I feel like you're kind of arguing with yourself. No, it is something that you guys have to shut over this.
Yes, hello. I'm doing fine. Thoughts on you? Samsung.
That's grinder.
Samsung, do you look anything like your photo?
I'll tell you what, I have, let me look. The hair is the same, the face is definitely not the same, and my beard looks, maybe the nose is similar, but the eyebrows, the nose, my photo. My beard looks 10 times better, but his chest is obviously better. I am safe to say. Isa, I was noticing you were talking about different, let's say, levels of practicing Islam.
Oh, sorry, what was again?
Like different levels to which extent you could like practice Islam. Is there such a thing as like modern Muslim, extreme Muslim?
I don't know, what do you think?
Definitely there is.
Yeah, in the West.
What, modern Muslim?
No, even in Muslim countries.
What,
Yeah,
moderate?
Yes. I mean, I don't know.
What is a moderate
You
Muslim?
mean like for example, the Sufi Muslims? Yeah, they have a different version of Islam. However, they are not recognized as Muslims by the Muslims. They reject Sufis, for example.
No, but that's not what I'm referring to. How can I explain this one? If you look at a country like Bosnia and Herzegovina, many people are shocked to realize that half the population is Muslim.
Yeah, I was shocked today as well to find Kosovo was one of those.
Kosovo is majority Muslim. Albania.
Albania, I didn't know this actually. However, they might be majority Muslim, but the countries are still secular, ruled by secular law.
Exactly. This is what I wanted to address.
Because they're Arabs. They're Arab.
Yeah, even Turkey tried to develop some constitution like this with secular law, but they do have quote unquote secular law, but it's limited by Sharia, meaning we're going to apply the as best as we can a secular approach, but we're not going to cross these lines that would imply a crime under Sharia, like for example, criticize Muhammad or criticize the Quran. But if you don't cross those fine lines, then everything else will be secular.
Yeah, not eat pork.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they still, like, Turkey still has, like, these elements, Sharia. Sharia is not embedded necessarily in the constitution, but they set the framework, making sure that within the secular law, you are not crossing those uncrossable lines, of Sharia.
No, you're saying, but I mean, looking at all the Muslims I know, the ones that I knew that no longer exist, no longer with us, I can say that most Muslims I know personally in the West, they are somewhat secular.
But because they can be in
Muslims were not reformed. I wanted to welcome Amir to the room. Amir, it's been a long time. Welcome to the room. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you want to contribute. Thank you,
Amir
Amir.
goes out of his room?
Yeah, so let me help with your point. I think what you're getting at is among Jews and among Christians, you have legitimate forms of religious practice that are institutionally widespread and considered to be legitimate. You will never find that in Islam. You may have people who are radical and observant, who are good Muslims, and you may have people who are secular, who are bad Muslims, but you will never find the first liberal mosque of Islam in Detroit, Michigan.
No, neither will you find
Michigan.
even amongst the moderate, you will never find one that calls themselves a Muslim, that it's a pro-Muslim that will ever criticize the Quran or contradict or challenge anything in the Quran. I'm not even saying insult the Prophet because, if you're a real Christian, you wouldn't either be in a position of insulting Jesus, for example. But you are allowed and actually encouraged to challenge the Bible, to ask questions, to think for yourself. That's not something that happens in Islam.
Isa, I think you're getting stuck in the maestro. Another way to put this is I would challenge anyone who disagrees with you to make a list of their top 10 favorite liberal, innovating imams in the world. It's very hard to compile that list because maybe there's only 4 and 3 of them were murder flesh.
There was one in South Africa that was gay and he was killed.
Well, they don't have space for Quranic. They don't have space for Quranic criticism. And even in academic Islam, there's very little Quranic criticism in the same way that there's been biblical criticism. But to be fair, they also took a long time to develop in Western society. It just so happens that it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think the distinction has to be made, Samson, between liberal and secular Muslims and liberal and secular Islam. The latter does not exist. It is a fantasy of people who have been infected by a Western projection onto their values.
I don't even think it's relevant to bring up the Quran when talking about secular Muslims and modern Muslims. They haven't read the Quran. They're not going to scrutinize it. They're not going to criticize it.
Samson, your claim was about Islam, not about Muslims.
No, I'm going back to something that Isa was saying earlier.
I think there's a slow movement in the Muslim world, even in the heart of the Muslim world, which is, of course, the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, a movement towards education. They send their kids to be educated in the West. A move towards increasing rights for women, that women are taking up more jobs in the corporate world, and a movement towards allowing culture from the West to penetrate or to enlighten their societies. Good examples of this are UAE, of course. I mean, Dubai is like Las Vegas in some ways, but even Saudi Arabia is doing tons of business with the West now and with Israel in particular. And I will note to you that they show particular respect for Orthodox Jews wearing kippah and tzitzis. And I have personal experience of some of this.
A good recent example, currently as we speak, there's a massive comedy festival going on in Saudi Arabia with headliners like Chris Rock, etc. I think 100,000 seat stadium with Western comedians.
Yeah, but I think sort of tailoring things to the West is different than like liberal Islam and liberal Muslims, right? Because within the Islamic world of the universe, there's still a lot more. It's a lot more harsh than we might understand it to be in the West. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, yeah, they allow things from the outside to come in. They allow Westerners to come in to sort of like participate in Western spaces, but the Islamic side of things, where the natives live, is a different world.
Well, yeah, there's more mob rule, mob intimidation of your surroundings. So even if a ruling or secularism is coming down from the top, it's the community around you that you'd be concerned about expressing liberalism in the face of that criticism or violence against you.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing a Muslim country like Israel, where we have female rabbis and also, having the Supreme Court allow women to participate in the rabbinic world, and also having, I don't think, and also recognizing secular marriage. Well, the government will recognize the secular marriage, not the rabbis. So I don't think that there's a Muslim country quite like that yet, or probably will be, even Dubai or.
But that's the religious practice, Sam. I'm talking about the broader society outside of the mosque and the openness to Western evolution of the culture, modernization, and change. Women taking increasing roles in government, I forgot to mention before. This is happening. We have female ministers and so forth, women ministers in the government.
Well, we're seeing that even here. We have Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib. Great examples.
Yeah, but Ilhan Omar is.
That's sarcastic. That's sarcastic.
Okay, so Bonch, come on stage, dude. I'm tired of typing.
If Ilhan Omar had her way, then America would be Islamistan. So, or Ameristan.
Yeah,
I just want.
I don't consider them progressive. I know they package themselves as such, but their approach to the world, I think, is very authoritarian and regressive, actually. They're illiberal.
So Bond in the chat, he always tries to challenge me when I talk about Western values, and I say, okay, come to the West. He's like, okay, Guatemala is not even part of the West. So I'm trying for him to understand what this actually means. There is the Western world and there is westernized countries. Westernized countries are countries like Latin America that were conquered and colonized by the West. And yes, they do all have Western values. When we talk about Western values, we're talking about 1, Christianity, 2, Greek philosophy, and 3, Roman law. So those 3 are what we consider Western values. That is what the Western society was based or founded upon. So the West is not compatible with Muslim countries. They don't have their roots in these 3 things that I have just mentioned. And that is what it makes the difference and where the clash comes from. That's why the values are different. That's why the principles of law are different. That's why the reforms that religions have gone through are very different, and Islam has not gone through that. That's why we were influenced by the Enlightenment. And yeah, westernized countries have been countries that have been influenced by the West. And even though they're not recognized as original West, they are recognized as westernized, which means influenced by the West. And yes, they do have those values. So when you bring up Guatemala saying it doesn't hold Western values, that's a very stupid and ignorant comment. I'm not saying Guatemala is an amazing country. Well, it's amazing, I love it. But I'm not saying that Western values should be a synonym of like perfection or non-corruption. No, that we have a lot of corruption, a lot of poverty, a lot of issues in my country. But that doesn't mean that the foundations of these countries are not Western, because they are. Anyway, I just wanted to make that point, but he is too much of a coward to come on stage and actually make a point, other than say, oh, the IQ of Guatemala is 40, the lowest. Oh, the corruption in Guatemala. Oh, the GDP. I'm not talking about any of that. In fact, your question was about Western values. And that's where my answer is now. It seems like your IQ is lower than a Guatemalan. And that's the reason why you're incapable of coming on stage and actually having a conversation.
That would be a good quiz show, you know? Are you smarter than a Guatemalan?
Yeah.
So the real question is he exemplifying modern Western values by being a coward?
What? What did you say?
Is this cowardice personal to him, or is that a modern expression of Western values to be a coward?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's difficult to hear. You said you mentioned Roman law being a concept of Western civilization or Western.
I said Roman law, Greek philosophy, and Christian, I don't know, values or morals or whatever.
Yeah, so I was focusing on the Roman law part. So because right before you mentioned that, actually, I looked up pre-Islamic Arabian law. It's very interesting because every society or tribe, whatever, had their own legal structures. And it says pre-Islamic Arabian law was a customary tribal and unwritten system of unwritten customary laws where tribal leaders enforced oral rules and judgment. The society was deeply patriarchal, with women having little legal status and often being treated as property, while men had the right to practice polygamy without any fixed limits. Law was only enforced through the principle of vendetta. Was often enforced through the principle of vendetta or blood revenge, with harsh penalties like cutting off hands of thieves. I'm curious how much of the Arabic law was infused with Sharia law and how much it continues today. I know that in some countries they still do practice this, where Sharia law is the dominant.
Sorry, I didn't understand the first part of your comment. Did you say that Roman law is not, was barbaric? Is that what you're saying?
No. I was saying when you mentioned Roman law, anything, because I had just looked up pre-Islamic Arabic law, like right before you said that. So then I decided to read what a synopsis of pre-Islamic Arabian law. I'm curious how much of those principles were infused into modern Sharia law.
Probably a lot. Also because you see a lot of difference, and maybe not huge lot of, well, actually, where was Islam born? It was born in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
With the Arabs. And then it expanded to other parts of the world like Asia and whatever. So yeah, it does make sense that these type of principles were adopted, and influenced the Sharia law and Islam, even the creation of Islam. But yeah, for example, when you look into Roman law, those are the principles of private property, of natural rights, of contracts, of let me look through the list. Even unjust enrichment, good faith, bona fide. That's a concept there. Burden of proof, presumption of innocence, proportionality, equity, abuse of rights limits. All of these are Roman law concepts. that we adopted in our constitutions. Trial by jury. No, this is not Roman, sorry. This is actually more modern. This is like constitutional inventions from the English common law.
Yeah, some of those principles are also found in Jewish law. At least at least from the perspective of the rabbis, Judaism and Jewish law is all the same or similar apart from one another. So it's interesting. But yeah, they seem to share a lot of principles with Roman law. You never know if the rabbis added some of them into it or not.
Yeah, but I think that there was some influence as well. I don't know. Look at this clown. He really thinks he can get me riled up by saying, "Oh, Isa, you're not European. You're not white. You're an immigrant. They will never accept you for who you are." Do you agree? I hear a lot of projection in these words, actually. Maybe he tries to throw these things thinking that he will annoy me because that is what annoys him. I don't know. Might be.
I'm also just going to try to annoy you now and call you a white European.
Who is a white European? Me?
You are. You're clearly entirely Swiss. Your whiteness is blinding.
Actually, that is more offensive to me than what he's saying.
Exactly. Hello? It'll be offensive to me too. And I get called a white European often.
Yeah, I mean, if he knew how much I love my country, why would I get offended by being called a Guatemalan? Why would I be offended by not being white? It's just absurd.
Pride you have in mountain rising, but that being said, it's something part of your charm that comes to know a love about you. But yeah, it's a right.
That is just something that crosses the mind of someone that is just so socially awkward and resentful towards his roots. And actually, I am 70% Spanish and 30% Guatemalan. And yet, every time I am being asked where I'm from, I always say Guatemala. Because that is my country. That's where I was born. It's the place that I love. But I guess some sand people will never understand that.
Yeah, you're only 70% polluted. Not so bad. You can improve it with the next generation.
I know. That makes me very exotic. And people love that, actually. Look, he's telling me that I have a housekeeping accent. Of course. He should know how good I am. If he would come to my apartment, it's spotless. And my cooking is amazing.
I've never had a housekeeper that sounded like you, Lisa.
So basically, you're a great white.
I've had great white Russian housekeepers. They have very different accents.
Yeah. Anyway, poor Blanche. On top of that, he was the one adding me. It's like, if you think I am so low, why do you want to be friends with someone that is not on your level? I just think that's.
Maybe he needs a housekeeper.
Yeah, maybe. I'm too expensive. He wouldn't be able to afford me. that is able to afford my rent, I would be happy to go and clean his house. I'm sure that I will make a lot of money because, well, I cannot imagine this place to be spotless. It says, Jeff, why can't you have Isa as your housekeeper, or you like Russian housekeepers? Yeah, they're cheaper.
Where is Bunch from? It's like
I think Bunch is like a reincarnation of an account. I think that he might be someone that we know that might be blocked, and that he is coming with another account, or she. Yeah.
No, you spoke.
No. I spoke to him. I spoke to him.
Too, yeah.
Okay.
It's B-O-N-J, right?
Yeah.
I didn't read the chat, but he speaks a bunch. Like, come on stage. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, he's confused.
I didn't read the chat, so I don't know what's going on.
I don't think he's got the balls to come on stage.
Well, not now, after he said some things, I understand, but usually, yeah, he has no problem speaking.
Well, I don't know why he is afraid. Like, I would not get offended.
You're intimidating.
You are
Am I
intimidating.
intimidating?
Yeah.
No. You're so scary. Really, Billy?
Fine.
Intelligent women are intimidating to people.
Yeah, that's why they get okay after they go to Isa's boot camp. Then they realize
Jesus boot
there's
camp.
nothing to be. Yeah, they realize that there's nothing to be afraid of. They just have to be decent people.
Well, there you go. So now Trump is meeting the Emir of Qatar, and then he will meet Bibi.
Oh, nice.
Wait,
Oh, look.
where? In America?
Yeah.
In the White House.
Oh.
Yeah. Bunch says, Daniel, I'm busy right now. Yeah, he's busy typing.
I'm also busy. I'm working actually right now.
Daniel, is it live? You're just saying like, it's just like.
No, the
Well,
meeting
it's a
will be,
private meeting.
but afterwards there will be a press conference.
Yeah, it's like they do. They usually kind of like have lunch, then they have their meeting, and then they go to the press.
No, they will have it in the lunchroom, the press meeting, for some reason.
Maybe for safety.
No, it's considered more, I don't know, more, yes,
Respectful.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever's right.
Yeah. Just more.
Imagine when they have the ballroom. There will be a lot of balls there.
Will there be room for the balls?
Yeah.
So let's see if Bibi will come back with the deal or not. What do you say? Will he come back to Israel with the hostages or not?
Pray.
You heard the Houthis attacking again, right?
Wait, what did you say about the Houthis?
I heard there was an attack last night.
Yeah, there was.
And they were planning something on October 7th?
If they plan something for October 7th?
Yeah.
Probably.
And that's the reason. That doesn't pass a smell test for me. I don't think they have the capacity. They're still at war with the legitimate government of Yemen.
Well, where did they drop yesterday? Where did they attempt to? Israel?
Yeah, at midnight, like 1 o'clock. It's like 2 minutes to midnight.
Central is right.
Did you hear it, or did the alarm go off last night?
I'm not in Israel, but my husband is and my friend, but they didn't even wake up, to be honest.
Oh, it's become like a
No, I don't know why they didn't wake up. They're supposed to at least wake up.
Maybe their bodies are just getting so used to the noise that they sleep through it.
I don't know.
Could it be?
They just kind of slept it off.
Wow.
but yeah, when people know that it's from Yemen, then they don't really get to. They would probably stay in bed.
Oh, it's not going anywhere.
First of all, because it goes everywhere, and second of all, it's usually intercepted, and it's usually small. How do you call it? Not a lot of explosive on it.
But the drone the other day that was in Eilat was from Yemen, correct?
Yes.
And it killed people.
The drone is different, but yeah, but they didn't. To be honest, unfortunately, they didn't with the instructions. You get a lot of time, especially with the drone. Is that a big victim blaming?
What? Oh my god. I'm fasting today.
Just out of nowhere, like for like, is there any particular reason?
Yeah, I'm trying to get into like this habit of fasting.
Do it on Wednesday.
Oh, 3 days, yeah.
Do it on Wednesday for 25 hours.
No,
Yes.
I'm gonna do it for Saturday too.
On Wednesday is Yom Kippur. Everybody's fasting, so you can feel like part of the
Oh,
community.
really?
Yes. But
Yeah, well,
not
so my goal is to really be able to complete a 5-day fast. It's a water fast though, not a dry fast like you guys are joking with. But it's to complete a 5-day fast. Last time I tried last month, but I only made it 72 hours. So I want to see how far I can get this time. But oh my god, it was amazing. Like I have never done like a water fasting. Last month it was the first time. And on day 2, oh my god, it's like my brain was on drugs. Like I was just feeling like speedy, and super focused and very efficient, and I could do anything. It was ridiculous. Like my brain was full on, and I felt like I was high.
Yeah, it makes you super alert.
What?
It makes you super alert.
Yeah. When you enter deep ketosis, it's like your brain just goes at 1,000 miles, an hour. It was just like so cool, because I was feeling like high, but without anything.
So your body is like eating up your fat. So yeah, that's what happens.
Oh yeah, my brain works much better when it's burning fat and not carbs. It's amazing. I think there are good practices, like fasting, I think it's a good one. Shabbat, I think is a good one. Of course, reading is another good one. Reading a book a week.
Stoning.
Exactly. Funny women every time they go out of the kitchen.
Is she still talking? This bitch don't so do fucking thing.
Samson, have you watched this series called The Chosen?
Chosen.
The Chosen.
Be chosen. No. Rings a bell though.
It's a series about the life of Jesus.
Ah, yes. I haven't watched.
Well, you should. It's actually really good. And you know how they always do these movies with portraying Jesus as like, I don't know, super perfect and almost like inhuman, like all like plastic and saint and whatever.
Way too handsome, yeah.
Yeah. This one, oh my god, it's like a very Jewish version of Jesus. You know, it's like very,
Jewish.
yeah, it's like a very human version of Jesus. Like he cries, he feels pain, he jokes, he laughs. You know, it's like really really cool. And they actually represent like a lot of like Jewish costumes, you know, because he was a Jew. And I don't know, it's a really cool one.
I mean, he's more Jewish than he's usually portrayed, but to say very Jewish, I think it's an exaggeration.
Well, it's not because I think that we have never really in any movie seen a Jesus that is as Jew as they represent them in The Chosen. We've never seen anything like that, and I think it makes it very real.
Yeah, I mean, the Jewishness of Jesus has been whitewashed out of Christian theology and film and practice for like, I don't know, 1,600 years. So you're right about that. They portrayed him fully as a Jew. That doesn't mean they portrayed his Jewishness well. So
Yeah, it's still a great film.
Maybe just now entered the Trump meeting now.
How long do you think they're gonna be together?
how long does it take him to slow you from Tel Aviv to Qatar?
Let's see, I think, how long does he have? He's the president, I don't know, 45 minutes. An hour maximum. They should be like, I don't think they're now opening the entire thing. I think they should have like only specific points that they're discussing. And let's see.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody should watch that series. It's actually really good.
That's and then the schedule is that they will have a meeting before Hajj, like just the two of them, and then a bigger meeting, and then lunch, and then
Two of them with 4 eyes.
just Bibi and Trump, and then a bigger meeting with more people, I don't know exactly who, and then lunch, and then in 2 hours they will have a press conference. So each one according to their time in 2 hours.
That's a long day.
Candace is already claiming it's a conspiracy that she wasn't allowed to before I just made that meeting.
Did you see?
Poor Candace.
Did you see Candace Owens' interview with the Hollywood guy, the sex trafficker or whatever? What's his name?
Epstein?
No, not Epstein. Weinstein. No, not Weinstein. Fuck. What's his name? Hold on.
P. Diddy?
No. Yeah, Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. Yeah, so she had an interview. I haven't watched the whole interview, but I just watched this clip where she is like, "Oh, Harvey, but how did this happen to you? Like, who do you think is behind all of this?" And she was like, probably trying to do some transference of thoughts, like, "Say it's the Jews, and he's like, "No, well, but I cannot make a claim because I'm not sure it was them." And she's like, yeah, but just say, what do you think? Who was it? Like, what does your hunch say, you know? And he's like, well, what I can tell you is that our product was bought by a company called Begin, which is like a charity company, and then this other, which is Saudi Arabian. And she's like, you can see her face, like how it went from like very excited because she thought that he was gonna say like, yeah, well, some Jewish name or something. And actually his response was pointing to Qatar and Saudi Arabia. It was super funny. And her face completely changed.
You guys notice her conspiracy theories are like fucking so crazy lately? Especially with like Charlie Kirk.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, the same as they always they've been for several years. The Jews did it.
Yeah, dude, but she wasn't like that before. In fact, I did like her a lot when she was like on the black, topic. And she was actually supportive of Israel before. Like, she was like more centered. And it was like when she got fired from the Daily Wire,
She went crazy.
that's when she went nuts. she was a good friend with Charlie, and she always kind of like respected him, and I never thought that she was gonna weaponize his death to further her agenda. I think that's disgusting. And like 2 days later, she was saying it was the Jews. It's just so disrespectful.
Literally an hour and a half later, she released her first video. Like, literally 90 minutes.
About what? Oh yeah. After it was caught. Yeah. Yeah, it was even because let's say that what she thinks it's true. Let's say that her I don't know that she's good evidence or whatever. Even if that were true, still the respect towards her friend, her quote unquote best friend, her quote unquote brother, should be far greater than any narrative that she can get. And so that's why I find it disgusting, what she's doing with his death. I don't know. Like, she completely lost me there. I had still like a 10%, of tolerance because when she is not talking about Jews, she might actually have some interesting things to say.
Wasn't there an investigation that found out that her money is mostly coming from Qatar and Saudi Arabia?
I don't know about this.
It was him and Pepper Cox on the boat that were under the same payroll of a lobbying group for Qatar.
Doesn't have a book worth its salt.
Yeah, but there are so many sayings about this stuff, Also about Team Pool, like having Russian money. I don't know. It's just like I have not really seen.
By the way, he took them to court. Even Southern, what was it, Lawrence Southern or something like that? She actually took them to court and won. So that was disinformation, and so it was Tim Pool and Lawrence Southern, right?
Hey, bro.
They were both accused that they were actually being bought by Russian oligarchs. They took them to court. It was Canadian. It was a Canadian article that was actually putting that out. So they took them to court and they won. They settled outside. They won. They said that they were going to actually put an apology letter, which they did. So none of that was true.
That was clear then. Yeah. Good.
That was clear. Yeah. Yeah, that was clear.
Well, then if Cannons and Tucker, that is defamation. But if they don't do it, it's because and especially Candace, like she loves these lawsuits, like she's even getting into like this thing with the president of France, It's like, okay, why don't you sue them? If she believes she's got all the reasoning on her side, she's got evidence, she should go for it. Also, this theory that she's putting forward, that it's like, oh yeah, well, they killed Charlie because he was starting to open his eyes towards Israel and he was changing his mind. That's all bullshit because she was also supportive of Israel before, and look how far she's gone right now, and she's still alive. Like, if that were the case, I mean, isn't she proof actually that that's not a thing?
No, you have to understand the way the patriarchy works in America. Israel would never kill her. She's a woman and no one listens to her anyway.
Yeah, well.
And the question, because I've been reading a lot of these different reports that are coming out from Jewish, like far leftist Jewish groups, but one thing I never understand is how they would actually, like, literally support terror. Like, that's one thing that like, for example, I'm reading this report from Ben Stella, right? Now, I can't for the life of me think that these people are not either doing some form of treason or not. I mean, they're the ones who are actually also perpetuating genocidal talking points. Like, they're even saying that it wasn't Palestinians' fault for October 7th. It was our fault because we were occupying the phone. I mean, when someone talks like that within your own group, I mean, isn't there like some sort of law against treason or something like that? Like, I just wonder, like they sound like a foreign agent. They literally do. Why aren't you guys dealing with people like that? I mean, there was another report that I read from Haaretz. Okay, now these guys. I mean, I understand you're trying to find anything that you can against the idea as a form of criticism. But then you say on one of the articles that was mentioned that the reason why IDF won't go around raping Palestinians is because they don't think they're
We're created for Batman.
like what kind of monstrous ideas?
So damn if they do rape and damn if they don't.
I mean, you can't win.
How do you? No. I mean, it's funny when